There's already somebody there. Never mind.
Did you see Frank's sample?
Yes, I did.
Is he coming to?
I didn't have I didn't ask him. I was over there seeing some of the EMS directors and things and saw him and then let them kind of do their little tour.
Howdy.
Hey,
What's happening?
doing good?
Oh, this. Oh,
Just beach, yeah.
The other guy, you're on whatever.
Yeah, we didn't have a meeting.
Yeah,
I was okay. I was a little under the weather, though.
were you? Yeah, I was. Under the weather for this last meeting, that's right.
Oh,
I don't know, how you
How are you?
Good.
No, but can-
think.
I mean, it's amazing how many people get it and just thank you.
You know what, I don't get sick very often. Last couple of years, it seems like it's once a year. I was sick for. Had a long lasting headache for the last meeting last month. And then I wound up getting sick, but just 2 days ago, I started getting all sneezy and coughy again, which is not normal for me.
You gotta wear a thicker hat.
Hey,
You don't have much up there.
trust me, I put plenty of clothes on.
Oh, good for you.
I work out in this stuff every day, so,
Oh. Been there, done that one too.
yeah, it's been a little bit of a rough winter.
A lot of people I've heard, it's got, not the flu, but congestion and,
Yeah, there was about a month ago, it seemed like about one out of every two people was sick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so, good. How you doing, Kurt? Good, how you been? Good. See you. See you. You doing well, yourself? Not bad. I just want to say thanks again for helping my daughter.
Oh, is that
no problem.
right?
Thing,
Okay.
Yeah, everything but the car.
Guitars?
Yeah,
Yeah, I like it. Thing, no.
yeah, exactly. That car's nothing, right?
I spoke to Pam last week. And said she seems to be ready to go.
Yeah. So good. It really, it's got I think they're just like
Right.
same temperament.
Right.
Many great characters.
Said she was on a board there in Dexter, so.
She was the zoning there.
Well, all right, doing well yourself? Good. Good.
Yeah, you good.
I appreciated this.
Did he?
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Today is my husband's 65th birthday and I'm the board. How you doing?
Today is my grandson's text, he's 22.
Oh.
Last year, tomorrow, he and my son is leaving for it's 5,000. When the kids have a birthday, they
Mhm.
Bruges like so.
Yeah.
Hawaii.
Yeah. Oh,
But I don't,
Nice.
so this year, my son, Adrian. He got accepted at George Washington University for system archaeology.
All right.
Well, he applied between 4 places in England that hadn't responded yet. They still had me 2-3 more weeks to respond. He got this one really well.
yeah.
Hey,
It's a great speech.
1.5 is better than 2.
How you doing? Are you doing all right?
Yes.
Yeah, you will.
But-
Last month, I know.
Last one, I was saying, there's,
Yeah.
I don't know. Say that a little bit. I think then the other two become a little bit. And it really- I think away like COVID because you want the headache.
Summers, Italy or Greece.
Really just. Six.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So. I'm really good, but. I'm all right. Little worried, Well, so, there, hey, I still fun, I got soccer every weekend. That's Friday. Hey, Friday. We'll see. She's. You kind of bought me on it, so.
Oh, hi. Great, how are you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I go wrong. Fusion, everything. I said, oh.
Yes.
They had.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah, I'm confused.
It is, and I will try to.
They can say, one of them is spreading. I know it's, I'm not looking forward to it.
Well, it's a hazard.
It's over.
When you got your whole one, that's all. Same time,
You got me. I told her not to.
You don't wanna talk to me over it.
Yeah.
All right, I just wanted to check in.
Yeah.
You know, and I over, I could, she said, lovely little sign about how to water it, yeah, and I'm like.
Sorry.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
really.
And.
Well, hi, Benjamin.
Yeah.
Everybody say what?
Service.
The penny make over.
Because.
Seen the engines. I was quite proud of.
There was.
How to get over on to you.
They owed us $2,000 great.
Yeah.
They sold.
Yeah, that's usually how that stuff happens when you've seen.
The
it.
check.
You want to do it.
$56,000.
Yes, sir.
And they cashed it as.
And then so it's a bill barn.
$54.
big enough.
You know, all good stuff. We had them correctly, they put them in. Check on it. We put. Oh, no, it's got one. You know, it was legit, but meantime, it's over hey.
It looks good. You want any lettuce? Yeah. You want any of this lettuce? Yeah. Apples are yummy. Want some?
Yeah, I hear you.
But I don't know.
I know, yeah. Yeah, but I think I've been on the board for now.
there, and that helps us with our minutes. And fill it out and hand it to Pam over here in the pink.
Well, yeah. Why don't you just spell that right, Dan?
All right, we'll get going here. It's 7 PM. Welcome to the Putnam Township regularly scheduled board meeting, February 18th, 2026 at 7 PM. Let's stand the pledge of allegiance. Allegiance to the flag,
United
States
of America.
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
Under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Here.
Jesse,
Yeah, here.
John,
Here.
Jensen,
Here.
Nemec. Here. Chambers,
Here.
Carney.
Here. All right, we will open the call to the public at 7:01. 3 minutes to speak. Would you like to come speak at the, we'll have another one at the end of the meeting as well.
Here you go. Thank you. 6 kinds of tea. Linda Lady, 234 Putnam Street. I'm here about, number 14 on the agenda today, the consider library purchase proposal. So, because, I'm fairly comfortable that the board is not going to accept this tonight, but, for some things for them to consider in the argument, in the proposal. Many municipalities do not have a library village at all because they don't have libraries, and that's not preferred. I understand that people are worried about taxes, but when they're asked for a village, they looked at since 1989, when they passed the district library kind of emancipation law, everybody did it immediately. I know in here, Putnam Township immediately made the library an independent entity. I'm looking at you, Pat, because you might remember when that happened. Anyway, the thing that actually really sticks out to me, first of all, the library is not for sale. The second thing is to manage library debt and annual expenses, the township could use funds from the road millage to cover the cost of chloride and spray. And you know, you can't use village funds from something else for something else. And it seems to be that's what it says. So,
Just to extend it,
okay, I mean, you don't have to. And
the
that-
freeing up funds, the road millage funds would go towards chloride. Hypothetical.
But the thing is, it seems attacking to the library because we know they're going for a millage this year. And to put the idea into the public at all, that it's that damn library taking up too much money, so we can't have roads or anything else, is toxic, the toxic idea. It's a toxic idea, board.
You're putting the narrative out there, just so you know.
It's so right here. So, I mean, we could have a village for both. I would vote for both, I have in the past. But, anyway, that's what I have to say, this is a half-baked plan. Whatever taxpayers brought this to you as a viable thing to do are not going to do. And if the township would spend any money on feasibility and legality to figure all that out, that's really a waste of taxpayer money. Definitely would not vote for that one.
Thank you, Linda. Anybody else for call to the public? Okay, go ahead and close that at 7:05. 5, consider approval of agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as written.
Do we have an addition here or is that?
Well, I was gonna add it to the consent agenda.
Oh.
The- the-
Okay. Then I'll make a motion to approve the, agenda, adding that,
No, actually, we're gonna add it to the consent agenda.
yeah,
So just now we're on item 5, approval of the agenda. So you already made a motion to approve the agenda as presented. I'll second that. And then when we get to the next item, that's where we add the Township Square. And the next.
We can probably read through this pretty quick, but when we get items here last minute, we really should be putting it as new business because we didn't have time to review it. We're sticking it in the consent agenda and we're passing something we haven't looked at.
Oh, well, we can add it.
rephrase my agenda, and I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with the addition of the town square use application for the St. Patrick's Day parade.
And I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Pretty straightforward. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. 6, in the consent agenda, we have the township board draft minutes. From the last meeting, general fund and PTFD budget report, general ledger activity report, township and PTFD bills for January 2026, planning commission minutes, town square application light up the world academy run for the gold 5K and kids fun run, zoning administrator summary, fire department run summary, and village report, also sheriff run summary.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda
I'll say,
As presented,
as presented.
and who's second, I'm sorry.
I'll second it.
okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 7, we are going to did you give a little background on kind of the go-rounds or the back and forth that you've had with Ryan, Kelly, and
So we've had this on several prior agendas. The planning commission approved the site plan, recommended that our board approve it. We approved it with conditions specifically, actually, we did it with 2 conditions. We waived the condition of the landscaping bond. But we did ask our legal counsel to do a tower removal bond. And there were many back and forths on that. And this is that work product.
what was the motion? What did we have for motion?
A motion to
Yeah.
approve the special land use permit for wireless communication tower facility as presented.
Okay. you were gonna add anything. I know you mentioned maybe adding some verbiage, but we all good. Okay. All right, we have motion second. Any other discussion? We all understand that? All right, all in favor, aye. Opposed, motion carries. 9, whole business review of legal access policy. Got this, got some background information. We have a recommendation, proposed motion. We have action on that.
At the December 17th regular meeting, Township Board, Township Board, the policy regarding access to legal counsel was adopted. The board is being asked to provide clarification regarding item B in the adopted signed version, which is an amended version of item C on the proposal unsigned version. The unsigned version is the original document that was included in the December board packet. Both documents are attached. In particular, the number of people who must agree to contact legal counsel by email or action that is engages a billable response is in question. So I make a motion to amend item B of the policy regarding access to legal counsel to say contacting legal counsel shall be limited to phone call that includes no less than 2 board members or authorized contacts present, not more than 3 to avoid a quorum, or by email when at least 2 authorized parties agree in advance to initiate the contact. This way we don't have one person emailing the legal counsel for his opinion that we're gonna get billed for.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have motion a second. Discussion. I do want to bring light. I was not here the first go around. I was sick. Not having any oversight over as a group collectively. I noticed we had like a $3,500 bill last month, and I looked through several of the items, which I'll be asking about later in the meeting, but I don't know if that's saving money, because I think the intent, I believe, if I remember right, watching the video, the intent was to save money. And I'm not sure that we do that by, and also educating everybody what's going on. I think that's probably, that's a very important aspect of it too. Just to have 2 board members that agree. Bob can contact by himself.
No, he can.
Yes, he can, unless it's changed.
Not according to this month.
Okay, let's look at it. The zoning enforcer has the authority to contact law firm for legal services.
Not by himself.
Why not?
Because
That's not what it says. It specifically says that, it specifically talks about board members. If you're chief or Tom Lewis, you can contact him. If you're the legal agent of the township, chair of land division, appeals process for zoning enforcement, you cannot. That's contradictory to me. Why would you allow the zoning enforcer to reach out and not the township supervisor?
So he cannot do it by himself. What?
Then let's put it in here. Let's put it in here.
That's what
Who-
this does right here. So this motion that Pat made says contacting legal counsel shall be limited to a phone call that includes no less
Yep.
than 2 board members
Right.
or authorized contacts present, not more than 3 to avoid a quorum. or by email when at least two authorized parties agree.
Okay, so we are agreeing that when Chief contacted Mike Homier this last month, that was against the policy.
No, that followed the policy.
Why?
Because I was. a
And
board-
who else?
And Pat. I included Val and Pat, and I called them before I did it because we had to have legal counsel do a portion
Okay.
of the application. So Val and Pat knew, I called them and said, hey, this application for the $600,000 for the truck needs a legal opinion. I need to contact the lawyer. I included Val and Pat when I contacted Mike Homier, and anytime I talked to, and I can't remember the gentleman that Mike,
Scott.
Scott Hogan, I always included Val and Pat in any correspondence that I had. So they knew every time I was talking to them.
Well, and that's good. We
It's
have
a policy, Tom.
That's not what the policy says.
You don't
it's
yell
not.
at me.
I
did-
Well, you're yelling at me. That's not what it says.
Clarifying exactly what I did. 'Cause
Here we are in an argument again.
You
over.
accused me of contacting legal representation without any of the board. I
We
would never
said,
do
we said last meeting that you could. Was that,
No, you didn't.
okay,
No, you didn't.
We have never said that, and that is.
why would any of that be in here then? If two board members are present, why would that be in here? Why do we have to spell out zoning enforcer, zoning administrator, et cetera?
Because he's making the point that at this time, we were both involved. He could have just said that one of us was involved and we would have met the criteria, but he was just giving you the correct information that both of us were involved.
We're not gonna pass something that it's one way for one person and another way for the others.
It is the same way for everybody, Tom, that any of the authorized people on this list, which includes the trustees and the other.
I'm gonna read this part, okay? Contacting legal counsel shall be limited to a phone call with 3 board members present, not more than 3 to avoid a quorum.
Wait, where are you even reading that? Where is that? The motion.
I'm just reading the policy.
That's in the policy,
Oh, that's the one that's not signed. That was the one that you wrote. That was in the original December vote.
Okay, where's our new one?
It's signed. It's the page before it.
So we're gonna limit the phone call to 2 board members?
Not,
Not
it has.
more than 3.
it
Why does
says
it say limit?
It shall be, no, we're limiting the contact to a phone call. That's what we're limiting, is the kind of contact.
So why does it say with 2 board members?
Shall be. Okay, so please read.
This says it was adopted December 17th, 2025. Then what are we, so we don't have a revised one, we're going on a motion?
Honey, this is, if you read the agenda item 9, it says a motion to amend item B of the policy regarding and amend it to say,
So we can't see a new policy.
it's right here,
No, it's not right here. It's not actually. It needs to be integrated. When we bring a revised policy, it needs to be revised. We don't need the policy from before. I mean, yeah, maybe for context, but we also need the new policy. All right, so. Motion.
so we're just swapping out item B, the language that's in item B with this language right here.
All right, I understand fully. This does not say what you're saying it says, but if we're all on the same page, Bob, if you're gonna reach out to the lawyer, Tom, if he's gonna reach out to the lawyer, 2 board members.
No, it could be one board member and one of the other authorized people. On the list.
it can be any 2 of the authorized people, which are the township board.
No less than 2 board members.
Or authorized contacts. Keep reading the sentence.
Okay.
Present. Not more than 3 to avoid. a-
Authorized contacts. So that
Those are listed in item A, who authorized.
Yeah.
contacts.
they're authorized, but they have to be joined with 1 board member. Okay,
No, they don't necessarily. They don't necessarily have to have a board member there.
Oh.
Well,
Round
it'd
and
be
round we
two
go.
authorities.
So
It'd be two
one board
authorities.
member
Oh,
will. the
okay.
question.
So two authorized,
So if Tom Lewis and Bob Press needed to talk to the attorney about something, they could do that. Having any issues with people contacting the attorney, Tom, other than you contacting the attorney by yourself?
that never happened. And that's part of, I wasn't here to defend myself. I gave you information that supported that it never happened.
So I'm speaking about the $3,000 that we spent.
Didn't happen. I was with Tom Lewis on a meeting, a Zoom call,
and
two authorized people.
adamantly denies that. So
It's in the
said that-
email. I gave you proof. I gave you proof. I printed the email out and gave it to you that he was a part of that discussion. Why is it that important for me to look bad? Just, I mean, you're gonna lie about it. Why is that important? It's not. It's what happened.
Happen where we are.
Oh,
That's what I'd like to know.
Oh, wait a second. So Tom,
The policy, if the.
I'm just trying to figure it out.
The policy, there's no problem.
you can't, just like, so that these last 2 weeks ago, you contacted the attorney by yourself about an election issue without talking to me about it in advance, the person who may have the most knowledge about elections here, but you didn't.
What did it
you
have to
didn't
do with?
Talk to, it had to do with whether or not we could be videotaped.
Right.
In. a-
You had
an
months,
active-
you had several months to weigh in on the issue. We had a committee that met. You did not weigh in. We met with Mike Homier. We gathered information. An election box was part of that conversation. There was a follow-up question to that.
These cameras.
I know.
That are filming in our precinct.
Yeah.
So they have to be turned off or actually they have to be covered,
That was,
but during selection.
and you didn't want our attorney to weigh in on that.
Our attorney weighed
Here's
in
the
on it
thing.
already.
Here's the thing.
I sent you.
I called Jesse Morrow and said, hey, is it cool if we just, spend $50 and have him weigh in on this? It's a pretty important issue.
Oh, did you do that? Did he call you and
I'm saying that
did you?
there's an issue with me including the entire board, but you would like me to exclude you and contact one trustee. I'm talking about, I included the entire board in that email. You saw the email, right? That's why you're upset. I included you.
Oh, so, but you made the unilateral decision to hire Mike Homier to answer that question, when I could have answered that question.
The agenda, because.
It's not here.
Maybe.
Pat, we approved it without doing any department updates and correspondence.
It has to.
You voted and you approved it. There's nothing there.
We'll have to put that in from now on.
I didn't even take it out.
Let's quit arguing.
What is so funny?
You sent me an email.
Oh, yeah, I wanted it out, but I didn't take it out. If he had a concern weeks ago, why didn't he mention that?
We just want to give you an update of what's going on in our departments, because this is really the only time that we have the chance to talk to the board about it, but, I can do it in call. Okay. So we have a motion and a second. We can further discuss.
We're gonna take a recess, 5-minute recess.
Why?
We're gonna take a 5-minute recess. We'll resume at 7:30.
Oh, they're going an hour and a half deal.
Okay, before we get going. Guys, we're gonna be doing this for 2.5 years. We gotta try to be accurate. No low blows. Why are you laughing? I'm gonna read an email. Laughing at each other? That's a low blow. All right. Hi, Amanda. Are we still able to meet at 11 a.m. with Mike? Probably only need 30 minutes. I don't see a Zoom link though. CC Tom Lewis. Tom's checking to see if he has the link. This is me replying. Again, Tom's checking to see if he has the link in his email. We can also reschedule for another date. We wanted to touch base on Kathy Weaver, Land Division Committee structure, ordinance check-in, data center alternative energy. He was included. Not only was he included in the email, he was included with the Zoom meet. All right. New business, consider reappointment of Pam Kikas
We
to
have a motion and a second on this, we have to keep that for us. Yes.
the review of the legal access policy.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not gonna read that motion, and I think we're all of the understanding, and I think that's important that we all understand it before we move on.
That's why we put the board can.
No. This is what you're doing. I like to see a new policy. So one of the board members maybe likes to see it the same way, or maybe just one. You see, oh, I can do that next time. To make it a little easier. You don't have to defend some unique way of doing something that we don't do typically. We typically roll out with a fresh draft, where you'd see a fresh draft, where you'd be able to read it and put it all together in one shot. What? That's pretty reasonable. That's a pretty reasonable ask. Okay? So it took me a few minutes and I wanted to make sure that's what it was. That's what we weren't gonna be doing it the way that I was reading it and the way that it was before. We're good.
You want me to reread the policy or do you want secretary?
No, I think we all have an understanding.
I asked for a vote on
You asked for a vote.
Yeah.
All right, we'll take another 5-minute recess. We'll resume, we'll just resume at 7:35.
it. 7:35 now.
I got 7:33. We're not gonna do this pretend shit, okay? You're not the chair. No low blows, no lying, no pretending. We're not doing that.
I'm being straightforward. All I asked for is a vote on a motion. We've got a motion and a second on the table.
Who are you talking to? Who are you talking to?
Who was it?
When you said, let's call for a vote, or what
I
was
was
your word?
asking you to call.
You're asking me, okay. That's how it should go.
And that's what I did.
No, it's not.
I have a right to call for a vote on
No, you have a right to look at me and say, Chambers, come on, let's get a vote going.
it. Okay, Chambers, let's get a vote on.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, aye? We need a roll call vote for policy. Isn't this funny? When we first started, every time I asked for a roll call vote, you don't get to do that, you don't. Roll call vote for policy.
That's what you were required in the past.
So now you're telling me how I wanted to do it back a year and a half ago, and now you're saying, you're reaching back a year and a half ago and saying, when you argue with me that we didn't need to do that, now you're saying we have to do it. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. New business. Consider reappointment of King Kikas to zoning board of appeals.
make a motion to approve Pam Keega's reappointment to the ZBA with term starting 3/18/2026 and ending 3/18/2029.
I'll second.
Which one? Everybody wants you.
Motion and second, any discussion? All in favor, aye? All opposed, motion carries. New business 11, consider 2026 scheduled office closures. This was submitted by Clerk Nemick and Treasurer Carney. This was brought up last meeting. This is a follow-up.
So you had asked to see the schedule of Putnam holidays and, well, actually, we asked to see the schedule of office closures. So what this does, it also shows what the Putnam closed holidays are and how we are honoring those as office hours. So if you look at the next page with the red X's show, the 3.5 Putnam holiday election days, with the red X. And then if they're circled, there's 12 circled ones are the ones that we're actually closing the office. So we got 13 and a half days that are holidays, but we're actually only closing for 12 of them.
Okay, so the red X's don't necessarily mean anything for this policy.
That's correct. The red X's correlate with the lead voting. So we're showing you just what is listed in the employee manual, because that's what you listed in the last agenda. So you had said you want to discuss office closures, but you would use the list out of the employee manual. So now I'm taking that list.
Is that the list that we used, right? We're piggybacking off of how we did things in the past. Okay, we were reviewing a current policy, correct?
So there's a difference between what an organization recognizes as holidays that are used to calculate PTO for employees and the days that your office is actually closed. An example of that is when Christmas falls on Saturday. You give the employee a different day other than Saturday off. They get a work day off for that holiday. And so this is taking those items and comparing. And so the important.
So the X's don't mean anything for the people that work here, right?
They don't mean anything regarding which days they take off. It's significant to how their PTO is calculated. And so what I'm trying to do is honor the fact that you had put that list in front of the board at the last meeting. So I'm explaining that that list is used to calculate PTO. But the question you were really asking was, when is the office closed to our residents coming in to do things like, pay taxes and that. So I'm just correlating.
What would an August 14th on a Friday when we're already closed and it has an X, but we're not
So
closed? We wouldn't be closed if it was on a Thursday. What does that X do for us?
it's part of the count of 13 and a half days. So it doesn't do anything for the residents. The circle.
No, it does something for the staff.
You know what,
It's just confusing because they're not off days. So I don't know what the X is.
So, okay, so because they're not, so we don't work on Fridays.
No, but we okay, August 4th.
I don't know.
August 4th is an election day.
Yeah, August 4th.
So we are low.
We have, we are not closed on election day. We've always been closed. But now we no longer are. And the reason we no longer are closed on election day is because the policy of how the sequestering of an absentee county board is no longer required. And we used to have to close the office so that we could sequester our absentee county vote because we had no physical facility to do that, that we could sequester. So the other employees who were not certified election workers could not be in the. So. But now we can be open on election day. But they're still counted as PTO time, so that's why there's a red text. Showing that is.
Okay. So it's not a paid day. Unless you work it,
That's correct.
but it counts towards your accumulation, right? So we have the 12 Putnam office closure days circled.
First through.
Okay, so that is a slight difference than, say, this year. That was 1 day difference.
Because of the way are you talking about in December?
Yeah, so we're gonna be open 2 days was kind of my request, right? I didn't want to be open 2 days total in 2 weeks, but we will be open 3 days. So that's a change.
Change it because calendar is different.
No, that's not true.
Okay.
See how there's 5 circle days in the 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Yeah. No matter what year it is, there's always gonna be 5 circle days.
You know, sometimes there's things.
And it would be 6 if everything was moved 1 day to the left, but when you think that if Christmas, instead of falling on a Friday, fell on a Thursday, then we would have 3 days that week. And then we would have, then New Year's Day would fall in the next.
It's gonna always be, okay, I got you. It's always gonna be,
But that's, these are, the point is that the circles.
yeah, okay, I get you.
And so,
January 1st, good. Don't know how that. So. All right, so we have a proposal here. I'm sure everybody understands it.
Further.
It is confusing, but
We don't take all the federal holidays.
Those aren't federal holidays.
you know what, I think those taxes should not be there. Because when I count it, it's too many. And so I think the X's for August are wrong. Down 14th and 20.
Yeah, that was-
Like 14, otherwise, yes, sorry, those should be on the 14th and the 28th of August.
Both 27th and 20th.
So we have the holidays of, Thanksgiving Day, which is the 26th of November, the day after. So instead we take that holiday on the day before Thanksgiving.
okay. Alrighty, any more discussion? We have a motion in a second.
Do we?
Okay, let's get some action going here.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the proposed calendar of 2026 Putnam Township.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. New business, consider addition of intermediate fire staff wage designation. Take it away, Chief.
So, with the full-time staffing, we have 2 designations, full-time firefighter and the sergeant. There's quite a big gap between them. As we're constantly trying to continue to stay competitive, like we've talked about many, many times. And the fact that when somebody comes in as a firefighter, they get an educational path, and when they have that, they meet certain criteria, and the only way we have is jump them up to sergeant. That could take about 2, 3, maybe even 5 years to get. However, a lot of times they do get some very good education to start their process, and the biggest one is becoming an engineer operator, a person who knows how to drive and run the truck, especially the ones that small. It is typically a promotion within most fire departments. It's a step up promotion before you become sergeant. We actually have that designation on the part-time side. We just don't hear, and again, it's instead of promoting somebody, just the fact of making sure that we're staying competitive and wanting to keep employees, the difference is between $11,000. That's a big jump in budget dollars. So having an intermediate, and this wage is exactly about the intermediate, would just be helpful to continue to be competitive and flexible. When people meet certain criteria, whether it takes a year, whether it takes 3 years, whenever they meet the criteria that we're asking them to meet and they've earned it, we have the ability to do it. But it might be before they really should become an officer. So that's why I'm trying to, there is one employee that kind of fits this criteria and move this designation to. I know typically this is something we do at budget time, but again, I would like to stay competitive, continue to make sure that we're doing right by our employees. So that's why I asked now. I know budget time isn't that far away, fortunately or unfortunately. So that is the.
All right, do we have any action on this?
I'll make a motion to add the wage level of full-time firefighter engineer at, to $26.75 per hour, which falls between full-time firefighter and full-time sites. I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion. I think it's a good idea. It seems like a pretty big gap. And adds a step in there. So. Something to shoot forward. What do you guys think?
That was a good idea to me.
All right, we'll do a vote. Roll call.
Emick? Yes. Frost?
Yes.
Jesse?
Yes.
Jensen?
Yes.
Carney?
Yes.
Sean?
Yes.
Chambers?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, Jim passes. Well. All right, consider policy regarding security cameras on township campus. That's 13. Under new business.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt a policy for access to video camera.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Discussion. I do think we should actually wait on this policy. We're gonna have a meeting with the installer and our tech company tomorrow. And I think it would be a good idea to wait and get some of the questions out of the way. I've got this written up in red. I've got it all marked up. So I know Val had several questions for tomorrow. So I think we may have put this in the packet anticipating that meeting would have happened already, but it didn't.
That's not the case with me, and I have the one for. And I put in the packet to give us guidelines for tomorrow's meeting with them. So I do have all of my answers, my questions answered by both
Are you saying that we could not take this? Chat, talk a little bit about it and take this and have questions or submit it
so there
to
are,
them as a proposal.
there are questions that they have for us, like who is going to control the cameras? How should the cameras run the program? Because right now.
Yeah,
we
there's
have-
a lot of unanswered questions. That's my point.
I know, and that's what this actually means, is it this?
No, it doesn't. Because it doesn't, we don't know the capabilities of the, I have a question here. Where is the footage stored? It should be
It's stored
it should be in this policy.
It's actually physically stored in the
It
lab.
should be in this policy. Recommendation for access. Footage for all 13 cameras will be archived up to 60 days. Where is it being archived?
It is being, the way you guys bought the system.
Yeah.
you-
They said 2 weeks. We got 2 weeks.
Okay.
So you put in your 60
If
days.
if you read what she wrote, so there are two things here, two questions that they asked you. So one is, where is it archived? So you guys bought.
If we're gonna do this with every question I have, it's gonna stay rough. All right, I've got questions. Don't put down the question, okay?
Answering it, Tom. I'm just
No,
answering.
but it's not all obvious. It's not all explained. You can, it isn't. 60 days was not what she said. She said probably 2 weeks. But we will find out for sure as we get going.
And she said that we have the capability to do it for 60 days. So we have that much the system, by just adding more memory into the RAT and our
Okay,
server.
which would cost money, I'm assuming.
And that's why it says up to 60 days, because I
I would like to ask them.
from a video monitoring perspective, the ballot boxes, I don't care about anything else.
Val, can you turn on your microphone? They can't hear you. Sorry.
Right? Hello? Hello,
It
hello,
had to be in.
hello?
Is that stuff on?
So, Amber, she installs these things for municipalities. And we could have an opportunity to ask her what is typical, for other municipalities, how long do they typically store for? So we don't have to come up with a number to know. We could refer, we could ask them.
That's why I said in the policy that it's up to 60 days. So I'm not saying that it is 60 days, I'm saying that it's up to 60 days. So if we decide during this implementation that we only want to keep it for 30 days, we're going to keep it for
Well,
45 days.
There's a slight issue with purchasing in cost.
Well, then we
Okay,
can look
so
at that.
now it's
It doesn't
implied,
change the policy.
it's implied that we can go purchase something that would go from 2 weeks to 60 days.
Because we can, because she put in writing that we can add more memory. Into the RAT, so that it's stored on our site in a RAT. And we can add as much memory as we want to record for as long as we want to. She believes that the memory that we have in there.
We're having a meeting with her tomorrow, right?
Okay, so in the meeting tomorrow.
You're gonna
she's
try
want
to tell
know-
us what she's gonna say tomorrow. I have an issue with that. So let's get beyond that. I have another question. Does this mean that we are letting them know in relations to residents can place confidential, this is a part of the policy. Residents can place confidential documents on our counters without concern that someone is reading them.
Yes, so we notarize a lot of documents here on the counters in the hallway. And when a resident comes in, they have very confidential documents. These are wills, these are court documents.
Why are we doing that in front of the camera? We obviously have access. It can be FOIA'd. Why are we doing that in front of the camera?
That's where our workers notarize documents. So are you?
We specifically made it so that the cameras would not intrude on the office. And now here we're saying that, we're gonna make this policy, if they see a camera, they don't know about the policy, they're gonna see the camera. That is a concern,
So
like,
can I finish answering the question, please? So what we want is cameras that focus on the counter, because we get a lot of cash payments here. So we take in many thousands of dollars a day in cash payments during tax season. And we would like the ability to do the cash counting underneath the camera.
have we put that into practice? Can we
Yes.
reach out under the camera and make sure they're all sprawled out?
Yes,
We tried
we
that.
practice that in front of, with the camera. So when the guys were directing the camera, we laid bills on the counter. We laid bills on the counter and made sure that we could read the value of the bills that were placed on the counter. Then we placed paper documents on the counter. And we could see that when we invoked the HD capability of the camera, that we could read what would be confidential documents that we are notarizing.
Would that be typical and notarized through the window out like that, kind of back and forth type of thing at the treasury
Yes.
desk?
Yes,
One thing. You're arguing about.
We never had a
policy.
camera before.
The policy, when we take in cash, is to count the cash on the counter.
Yeah.
Where both you see it and the person that's paying the bill.
And a witness, there's 3.
Yes, there is three,
Yeah.
2 people count.
but we count it on the counter. We don't take it down underneath the
Right.
counter and count it. We count it up on the counter.
Well, I think the video is, you have to go through. I was just asking if you could put that into practice, because it seemed a little cumbersome. We never did it before.
That's what we do. We literally lay the
We-
cash out.
We had a
on-
committee meeting, about where these cameras were going, and this one popped up. We didn't decide on that. Okay, it was added at the last second. And it was a little confusing to me why we would not need one before, and now we need one, for that specific instance. You said there was never a problem, a discrepancy. So, but as long as that camera that's gonna be put into place, that clears that up. Other question was,
So do you live monitors, and why we don't want anyone to have access.
Notary?
I'm sorry, why we don't want to be able to live monitor the cameras, or to be able to rewind the cameras and invoke the HD, and somebody who has access to the cameras to be able to read them. So that's why this policy has all of the access to the memory that is housed on our site. The access to it, though, is controlled by CPS. And if we give them the access, then none of us, no one here, there'll be no question that any of us went back and read a document that while we're notarizing and stamping and signing and all the stuff that the notary is doing, and the document is laying right there, no one will ever be able to read that document.
it's making, I mean, again, the capabilities to take off the app is a question. Can we even do it? Alex from CPS side, his recommendation was that we vet inside and then we ask them. So there's, like I said, this is kind of the cart before the horse. I sent them this for a review. So I got a little bit of comments already back, but the meeting was supposed to clear up everything. So how do we, says, so they will not feel uncomfortable that they're being watched. Again, I think I emailed you about the dramatics of this policy. It's a little bit dramatic. How do we limit how do we limit the participants in the classroom from watching each other? There's this concern that Big Brother is watching us. And if we just adopt this policy, that it will everybody will feel better. And but we're still gonna have the camera there. And I think it's embellished, this whole policy, but it's really not a big deal, other than the capabilities of the app, I would think would be limiting. I'd like to know first if we can even, if it even has that capability. Which again, we could wait a month. Answer the questions, feel better about it, but we're gonna rush this thing through because you want it through, right?
Well, I don't want us monitoring. So I don't want our staff to be able to monitor the internal cameras in the month that it's gonna take us now to talk to them tomorrow, and then come back in a month and have this approved again. My concern is that for that month, that whoever has access to it internally here
Is doing a lot, looking at.
will be able to watch everything that's going on.
Okay,
We have a motion and a second right now to approve this policy, so we do need to address that. If people are not comfortable with approving this policy now, you certainly can, you can vote yes or no on the motion and the second that are in front of us.
and you may be getting a revised version next month. I mean,
Yes, we may get a revised version next month. And
So they call them first reads, and basically, there's no pressure, you bring up a policy. And we do just like I read it, I had concerns. We all make little marks, you go back, you bring a clean draft, okay, that's working together as a board. I think we all want a policy, but we don't have that option to address certain things because we have to, we're not doing a first read, we're.
We had a week to request that.
That is the
These were in the
purpose of the
packets
board
we-
packet, is that we all have it.
We come up with just several drafts, we just keep drafting,
If you,
someone comes in the office, you change
because
it.
we could
change
have
it again,
talked
change it again.
about, if anybody had questions, the whole purpose of putting the cover sheet on and having a sponsor for something that's here. Is that when you have
No.
questions, I would hope that you would come to the person who put the policy together and say, hey.
Oh, I have
questions.
concerns, I have legitimate concerns that I would like to see addressed. With the whole board, I mean, that's okay to talk like that, it's first read type of situation. We do have a motion and a second. No other inputs, no other discussion. We're good with this policy. Great, all right, all in favor, aye? All opposed, aye. Motion carries.
That's why we should do a roll call. To understand what our real count is, or we just do one this motion carried. Then that's what,
Who else voted no?
I don't know.
It was just me. Thanks for highlighting that. All right, we've got 14. Consider library purchase offer. So I'll give you some background on this. I had a resident email me and ask, if she was concerned about the millage coming up and wanted my support, wanted to make sure I was gonna support it. And, that's how the ball got rolling on this. After looking at it deeper, and I had someone else reach out to me with some concerns over their budget. They do have 2 millages that, we have a bunch of information here, guys. Some late additions. Millage rates, it says 1.4, but it's actually 1.96, including the library debt. So a little bit of my concern that I see, is that they're using that debt money to pay for their operating costs. You can pull up their budget and that's how they're rolling. So, the concern by one of the residents was, and it was quite alarming. Their director is making $142,000 a year, significantly more than anybody on any other librarian in the county. And, the fact of the matter is, when this village comes up for renewal, people are gonna see that. They're gonna see that she's the 14th highest paid in the state. They're gonna know that she's only, until recently, she was fully remote. She's now required to go in there 24 hours a week. There's some concerns that they are, out of their league, so to speak. And the concern is that, if the millage fails, that the library, would be in question if the library could continue. So I saw this as basically I had to cut through cut through this shit and, saw an opportunity that, we as a township, we've kind of had this mindset, we're not willing to invest into our roads. We're waiting on that road millage, maybe. We could, get our hands on the majority of the board for the library. After talking to some people and, Linda reaching out, and I think it became very clear very quickly that this is not a viable option. So I did not some learning realities, but that's what they're gonna have to deal with. And we, as a board, when we appoint the appointments, I think we need to be asking those tough questions. That hopefully, that we should be asking. As a township, we look at, how much we pay each other and we compare them. We're always comparing to other townships. And when you look at the library, it seems that there's an imbalance. There's two individuals making over $100,000 and the librarian at Hamburg is like 90. So, I won't personally be supporting a millage that operates in a way where their debt millage is not going towards their debt. It's funding their operating. I think that's bad business. It's not good for the community. So, I'm not gonna be super outspoken personally about it, but it's, I'll have a vote at the ballot box. So after, like I said, after realizing that this is not a viable option, I don't have any recommendations for the board. To entertain, conversations with the library board, if you guys had any input, go for it. But,
I have some. I take offense to some of the things that were said here. The library. I didn't do a study on librarians, pay, but the library has been run very well. I know a number of people that have been on the library.
well, your wife was on the library board, right? Trustees. And question the appointments as they come up to say, to ask those questions. So no, it's not really an issue we need to address now, but as the appointments come through, I think those are viable questions. Why is the debt millage going towards their operating? Why is there, there's no excuse for being the 14th highest. Paid director.
Approach to the, people, it's approach to the people that they pay them.
I'm sure that's the fine print, but they still
Are they paying their debt?
they still owe almost $1.5 million on the
Are they
building.
paying their debt?
Yes, they are.
Yeah, see,
Yes,
I
they
don't,
are. I did check that. They're paying all their debt payments on time.
okay,
They haven't missed any debt payments.
I think that's a good point. There's no concern that they're gonna default anytime soon. I think it would be that failed millage, but, as I think that was some great data that you provided that said last millage.
Could I please discuss that data for a minute here that's on your desk? So I'm just talking about these two sheets that are stapled together. So there are some statements that were put in the public board packet that have caused a lot of distress for the library. And I'd like to talk about those. I spent a day doing research on these issues. And as you can see on the top sheet, so there was a statement here that many of the local communities in Livingston County, many do not have a library millage at all. That is not true. Many do not have libraries located in their communities. But here is a list of who pays for the libraries. And so you can see that Howell, City of Howell, Cohocton, Deerfield, Genoa, Howell, part of Marion and Osceola, all pay toward the Howell Carnegie District Library. And every jurisdiction in Livingston County pays for a library. So the statement
Do you think the intent there was to say that we should not have a library millage? I mean, that was way
Yeah.
taken out of context.
Yes. So as we go through here, there's an accusation here that the library's budget, which according to their meeting minutes, does not adequately address maintenance issues.
Right.
That is a very offensive statement to the library because it is not true. They are very intent on addressing their maintenance issues. And you, good to know, Tom, that if you didn't know.
Why would
you shouldn't
they
have
say
put it
that?
in a
It
public
says it in
document.
their minute.
It says that they are addressing their maintenance issues. And just like us, we all have to make budget decisions, right? We have to prioritize how we're going to spend our money. That is not
Okay.
what you said here. You're saying it does not adequately address maintenance issues. Then it goes on to say residents are finding it difficult to justify higher taxes, especially in light of the recent failed road millage in the 2024 election. So clearly you're trying to replace the library, use the library's millage for roads by defeating the library millage and getting a road millage.
I'm saying
But
that
our
if we
current
pay,
supervisor, I have the floor now, please, can I have the
but
floor without?
you're
being
twisting. You're twisting, and I'm allowed to address the twist. The idea is that the township would pay off their debt, which would mean that they don't have both millages, which would mean we could replace it with a road millage.
And where would that money come from?
That was the
Pay
idea.
off the debt. Where does that money come? Where is that money? That we could pay off their debt? Because their debt is 1.48 right
Yeah.
now, million.
Yeah,
And they have a bond schedule that actually the value of outstanding in the bond schedule works out to be 1.9 million. that
Yeah,
goes
they
through
do.
2023 or 2036. So how
I heard they
are
were
we as a
working on it.
township going to, how are we going to pick up that
well,
cost?
the idea would be that we would, do a trade. We would install a road millage, which we have the right to do. And we would use, let's say, $80,000 in the budget or whatever, 60,000 for, that we allocate every year towards roads for, spraying. We wouldn't have that anymore. That would go on the village side. It's moving some things around, but at the same time, we could put a big chunk down, let's say, $800,000 down on the building to alleviate the debt that are.
Where is that money? Where do we have $800,000?
We just got $600,000.
A fund balance of 1.5 million.
We
Which
just got $600,000
we
ring.
pay for a fire truck. We can't use fire truck money on anything but the.
Wait.
You just
They
said we
borrowed the
spent
money from the
$600,000.
township. Are you saying that funds is still in the fire department fund?
No,
So you're,
wait a minute.
I'm not
Yeah,
sure why,
yeah.
I'm not sure why all this is money.
We,
I mean, you could try to understand, you can disagree, but it's not funny.
We do have counting the money that the fire department owes us. We do have, I think, is it 1.4?
Yeah.
$1.4 million fund equity, which is it's right, the minimum we recommended to have, that is 1.5 times your operating budget.
We bought the fire truck, you were willing to go in debt on it.
Yes, because that money's coming back to us.
Okay,
With the millage that's in place.
the idea is to move that road funding that we have installed there into the road millage, frees up 60, 80 grand a year. That was the idea.
But then
Yes,
what, how does the library stay over? If the library then?
the debt millage
Well,
would
the
be.
debt pays for the building. That's what the debt millage
Right.
is. It pays for the
We
building.
essentially, the idea was that they wouldn't have a debt millage. That was the idea. And we could replace it with a road millage. That we would own something of like an asset, right? We would own an asset. And we would, the residents would pay less in taxes for the library. And in exchange,
And how would we replace the fund equity that we're spending then? We're spending all of our fund equity to pay off their debt. How are we gonna replace that fund equity?
built up over time.
There's another whole thing, I think we're putting the cart way before the horse. We are only 1/2 or 2/3
Oh,
of the
God.
owner or the support behind the library. We have the village, which also has support, and they're paying their taxes for that as well. We are in, legally, we're combined with them, so we don't really have control. We have to work with the village if we were gonna do anything in that, and again, that's something that you have 7 other individuals and 7 different thought processes that are gonna be involved in that. And, I really think we're putting a cart way before the horse.
Well, and
in my opinion.
I think the interpretation of this was that this was happening, this was a discussion. And this was to potentially engage in more discussions with those other entities. It's obvious we don't want to do that. I don't intend on playing, I'm not taking a motion here. This was also I wanted a gateway to the road discussion, and we'll get there.
I still have a few comments on this before we go to a road discussion. Like that. So I had 3 callers and 1 emailer who thrust me down pretty royally. Yesterday. And one for thinking that we could run a library better than the professional team doing so now. So I don't know if you're all aware that this was on the upper right-hand headline of the Livingston Daily on Monday. That Putnam Township was considering buying, I'm sorry, I have it on my desk, I can read you the exact headline, but I assumed you'd all seen it. So the library got a ton of calls, we got people inquiring here, I got people yelling at me here, I tried to transfer them to you, but they did not want to speak to you.
Oh, okay.
So 3 callers and 1 email. One for thinking we could run the library better than the professional team doing so now. And the issue is that they're not putting this just on Tom, that the way that headline looked, it looked like we were all trying to take over the library, which looked very badly for all of us. And this gets to the issue of that when we are putting something in writing that is going to be published in a public newspaper, that we have a responsibility to do our best to provide information to the public that is accurate and respectful of other governmental agencies. Every board member here is being blamed for this headline. Tom should have published an apology.
Newspaper takes with them.
It's in the packet.
It's in our.
There was no negative. I had Linda reach out to me very respectfully.
Oh, let me tell you about the other ones that called. Okay, one told me that we should be ashamed of encouraging failure of the library millage to repair roads. Asking, don't we have children or a conscience? So this is what our residents.
So you
are
didn't
saying.
explain to them that this had to do with the debt millage, did you? It had to do with paying the building off. You didn't get that far in the
You didn't
conversation.
understand what you had written here.
Then why didn't you transfer? Why did you insist
Because
on transferring?
Another one said, if the township could afford to take on the library's debt, surely it could afford to pay for the roads without a millage.
That's.
And then
not how
another
that
one, the
works.
last one was fund your own millage without stealing someone else's. So I think that.
How
that
are
this
we
is-
gonna pay for the roads?
Tom, you ran on being able to fix the roads without a millage. That is
Perfect
how you
setup.
beat Dennis Brennan. And
How are we gonna do it?
I mean, we were the ones that were
So you're
behind the
saying,
road
I'll
millage.
bring a proposal.
We wanted a road millage in 2024 to pay for the roads, and you
And you're
campaigned
blaming it on
against
me.
it. You voted
Campaign,
against it and
I
campaigned against it.
voted against it.
Pardon?
I did vote against it.
I know you did.
That wasn't the reason why I failed.
Tom, you campaigned against it and you were elected because you were the guy who's gonna fix roads without a millage. And now suddenly we need a.
Step aside, we'll do it.
So I'm closing the library issue. I want our board to make a motion. I'm making this motion right now. That and the motion says, we apologize for statements in the February board packet that may have been misinterpreted regarding the Pinckney Community Library. We wish to express our support of the work that the library board and supporters do on behalf of this community and encourage them to continue to operate in the same successful manner.
Fair. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yes, I fully support that. I feel the library has done a great job over the years. They've come a long way from, when they were in the annex. First of all, they were in the red building, then they were in the annex, and they were on Mauer Road. Now they have their library in town, at the old high school. They've done a great job in having a beautiful facility. And they do a very good job of serving the community. I think it's crazy that we should even question that, in public like this, if there were more.
We should do it
facts.
behind closed doors.
No, we should do it more than broad.
We should do our.
This is a discussion. This is a good motion to clarify the discussion. We have a motion, we have a second. Is there any other
And I would
discussion?
like roll call vote on this one.
That's not how it works. All in favor, aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. If you want to put unanimously,
Oh, no, can't do that
Why
unless we get a
not?
roll call vote.
oh, you do the minutes. I didn't hear a nay. You could put yays and nays.
So if we say days, we.
I don't
we
need to run
know that
down.
Everyone voted. We don't know that everyone said yay. So we can't say it was unanimous. We just know that we didn't hear any no's. So you can't
Okay.
say it was unanimous unless. you do-
Like I mentioned to Pat,
That's-
you can look to the chair and you can simply say, can we get a roll call vote,
That's
please?
what I said. I'd like a roll
You
call
can be
vote.
courteous towards the
Please,
chair.
may I have a roll?
No, I don't need it like that. I just need a respectable individual who's trying to work together. Okay. 15, new business, consider process. I'm even gonna make a comment. The concerns that were brought to me, the library should take into consideration. And I will be there tomorrow at their board meeting, which they invited, asked me to come, and I will simply bring my concern personal. It was addressed to the supervisor, these emails, but this is, there is something there. So I understand that it's being run great and all that good stuff. I don't think none of us want the library to go away, but,
But you did hear.
where
in
there's
public
smoke, there's
forum
fire.
Tonight, you said that you weren't gonna support the millage, the library millage, but you weren't gonna do it publicly, like you were gonna say that. You know, you weren't gonna go against it. I mean, you
They
said that.
won't meet.
and
I don't
you're
know, they
saying
took,
that-
a number from you all. They won't meet with me.
What, I'm sorry?
I got in the office and Hope wouldn't meet with me. She wouldn't give me a tour of the library. Right off the get-go. I have to go to their board meeting. They won't meet with me. That was,
I believe their meeting went to here at the board.
great. Okay, consider process in format of board agenda. 15,
I'll make the motion to adopt the agenda and packet process as described in preparation and format for Putnam Township Board agendas.
I'll second it, but I do want to say that this is a live document, it's stated with a version number, and this is something that as we see what is working and not working for our board on putting motion, on putting the agenda together, like what do you like about the packets, what don't you like about the packets? We can keep doing better. So this is the process that we're following for this meeting. We encourage
then, and I will make every possible accommodation. I would just change that to the clerk shall make every possible accommodation to add it to the agenda. But it just seems a little contradictory that we would have this so that, the ideas that we're educating the public, getting them involved, but then we're gonna amend the agenda possibly halfway through the meeting. This gives us room to do that. I think we just remove that section. Any other thoughts, concerns on this? On that, what I suggested specifically, are we okay amending the agenda on the fly? Eventually, like we did I think we tried to do the last meeting. Has been one. We've never done that in 9 years I've been here. We've never done it. So it just seems like another one of those things to add to cause this dysfunction amongst the board. It's not necessary. But you want it in there, I mean. I don't know why it's in there. The approval of the agenda, so I don't know what could come along where we are adding an agenda item. But, all right, we'll see how that goes. We have a motion a second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. 16 St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, I can talk a little bit to this. So, this was a late addition, apologize for that, but it's the St. Patty's Day Parade in downtown Pinckney. It's gonna be the exact same as what we did last year.
I'll make a motion that we okay the use of the square for the St. Patrick's Day Parade.
You have approved,
Motion to approve.
motion to approve it, that is okay?
Motion
Second, I heard Jesse.
Jesse.
Motion and a second, okay. Any discussion on that? All right, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Comments and concerns of the trustees?
I'd like to let the rest of the board know tomorrow, the village is going to be having the first of two meetings, by the way, that they have the policy and ordinances written for marijuana licensing. The board is going to and so then we voted to send it to the village council for their approval and recommendation, so.
I believe that's how the first approval was done, or the first one was done on a point system as well, I believe, right?
I have no knowledge of
Yeah, I'm
that.
pretty sure it was.
I
That's what
can
they
tell
said
you,
at the time, but I don't know that for sure.
I can tell you that we created it, I think it's called a rubric. And we created a brand new one. It was probably about 3 or 4 meetings, and I came in on the tail end of, I was on like the second of 4, I think, meetings. And all that was discussed and things went back and forth.
Okay,
I give my updates now.
comments and concerns of the trustees?
And, first of all, I passed out to everybody, Multi Lakes Water and Sewer Authority got a grant from the federal government for $580,000 to do some upgrades and repairs on their facilities. They applied for this grant, I think close to 2 years ago. And, they just got word that it was passed on February 11th. Which I think is very good for them. They also, concerning Multi Lakes, they had their audit and they had the highest rating because we did in our audit. There were no concerns or anything, and they are increasing their fund balance. little bit of time. They're working very hard to, increase their fund balance and, be able to, do more repairs on things as they wear out. And then thirdly, the, caretaking committee met, we all had, tasks to do, we haven't had a second meeting yet. I think Tom's trying to put together a second meeting now, and we'll go over the results of those tasks and, report back and I have more to come.
Okay.
I have a few others I'd like to discuss as well. Regarding the caretaker issue, I believe that we do not have a long maintenance contract for April, like for,
We don't have a strong maintenance contract for this year,
right.
so
So concurrent with the caretaker discussions, we should also have that option. For us, understanding what that cost would be, doing normally we would be certainly asking for bids by now.
I have started contacting, non-maintenance people and snow, removal people to give us tips on what they would charge. I've talked to, COD Services, I've talked to, Chris, Bellingham, and, I've talked to JP, and I've also talked to, I think it's Dean, our lawn care, I haven't gotten any bids yet. I've talked to them, they're interested in bidding, and they're, asking for the information to, aid them in their bids.
Can we try to get those for the March meeting so that?
And
things work
I've
together?
asked for them to be at the March meeting in sealed bids. We will open them at the March meeting. So, the bids will be as they are, and we can vote on a high one, a low one, or anything in between as we see fit at the March meeting. Or we can put it off till the April meeting.
We were just awarded a $2,000 grant from the Michigan Association of Senior Centers for a freezer for the senior center. So we got that approved. And I have two election issues. One is that the timing for bond language on the August 4th ballot requires that we make a decision in March, so that we can have the attorney's wording for us to approve at our April meeting, because the wording is due before our May meeting. So we would need to decide next month that we're going to, if we're going to do any millage request on the August ballot. So there's been discussion of a road millage, and if we're doing that, now it's time that we need to be acting. Also, prior to our March board meeting, we will be engaging 3 part-time election staff. These are in the budget. These are people who we use to, they're going to start, we're starting a little bit early this year, although they are budgeted. But because we need to make a mailing, a hand-stuffed, customized mailing to each resident of the township with a brand new voter ID card and information on how their voter precincts have changed. So that's our first task, and then we'll be mailing absentee ballot applications to people who are still on that list. And then we are preparing all the absentee ballots. So that's why you start that far in front of the election. So that's what we got coming up in elections. And that's all I got.
Did we get the new ordinance books?
They are coming at the end of next week.
The new books or the supplements?
So we've had all the supplements. But, some people either had not kept up their books or whatever.
Yeah.
Or their covers were ruined, and so we're just fixing all of that, and that'll all be here at the end of next week. So, could we ask? I know this is concerns and issues of the trustees, but it sounded like the fire department had some information that they would like to share with the board. One would like to hear it, but it's pretty much.
I would like to hear it also. I think it should have been under concerns, under department updates, but, I guess from now on, we'll have to list.
So should we be removing department updates and correspondence from the agenda completely, Tom? Is that what you're suggesting?
Line items that said supervisor.
I know, so he asked for me to take
All right,
that.
so
And our new
again,
policy.
collectively, not understanding that there's an issue, that's the problem here. We're running our meetings too long, that's a fact. Okay, so I guess my point was, let's have a discussion, this is the easiest way to cut that out, because we all sit here and we like to give 10-minute speeches, and maybe, and look, right now it's 8:41, when we started this comments and concerns, it was right about an hour 30. Okay, so there was an intention there to try the attacking, okay, cut maybe some of that down and maybe shorten up our,
Timeouts. Shorten our timeouts, that was 10 minutes that we lost.
have we been doing timeouts?
Yeah, I think it was.
That's
probably
happened before.
47.
Okay, yeah, that wasn't the issue before. The issue before was the long meetings.
So our new policy that we just adopted is to keep the meeting moving. The section, the department of the section is now an opportunity, not an obligation for board members and the fire chief to provide the trustees with high level information that is both timely and foundational for their interactions with residents. So, according to the policy that we just did, we are keeping it and we are doing these kind of discussions in that part of the meeting. We can always change this. But
Well, I think we should list them so we can be structured like we were before. But I think we should be conscious of our time.
yes, on back. I mean, you could just go around the table if you want to do that, but I'm happy to listen.
I think we better listen so they're not. Limited.
Do we get our online version of the ordinance? Or is that already done?
It's already done. That's
Okay.
always been.
Can we
Is
hear
that,
from the fire chief?
you guys actually cut me off, I wasn't done with my ordinance
Sorry.
questions.
So it's on, the online one has been up to date. It has nothing to do, no correlation.
Okay, so as we do approve a new ordinance, about how long does it take?
So we have always batched them and because it's expensive to have them, update the ordinance book. It's very expensive because what happens when you update one ordinance, it sounds like you're just updating an ordinance, but it often, actually updates like 5 different sections, which then renumbers those sections and the sections after them. So it's actually kind of a complex thing to update the code book.
The
So
online?
yeah. So the online is just the digital version of the printed one.
Right.
It's exactly the same. So when they do that, it's expensive to do it. So we've always batched them. Where we, like every 18 months or some period of time like that we do them on that schedule. I think it's gone as long as 2 years. But if we have one that we really need to get in the book, then we can pull the trigger right away and just do whatever we have up to that point. So,
So the online is freshly current, it's freshly.
absolutely, we don't have any outstanding ordinances.
That was my last
Not
question.
gonna fit.
Cool. All right. Mr. Rupp, are you interested in reporting?
I have a couple things to report.
Okay.
As reported previously, we got the application for the grant we received for Engine 50. We completed that in the last month. We submitted it to the USDA, which is the section that is part of our grants. We had three very, very minor follow-ups, which we were able to do by the end of last week. Everything has been accepted. We are currently at 100 runs. We did 60 runs in January, May, wish it was May. In January, 3 runs up over last year. Start that cycle, but it's the truth. Not really have too much public events going on, but we are preparing for the St. Patrick's 5K parade. And we're sure very soon we'll start with meeting with the individuals that put on our department food truck Fridays as those events are around the corner. Currently at 19 staffing, we're currently in a hiring recruiting blitz. We're starting with putting up stuff on social media. We're looking at focusing on part-time trained firefighter EMTs right now. And then we'll move on to focusing on recruiting people that are just interested but are untrained. Lastly, last Wednesday, today, our EMS space officially opened. I'm sure you probably saw it all over. There was a lot of very good press about it, but it officially opened with 2 paramedics. And then ironically, that day, Bravo 5 transported. So again, that tells you, again, it's nothing against LCMS. As I think you've gotten the vibe from me, emergency services in this county is very busy. And the first day we had an ambulance in our community, it's out on another emergency. And Bravo 5 had to go do a transport out of Wellbridge. Again, that's part of the partnership that we have with county EMS. And where, what we do and how we do it here at the township in the village and with other emergency agencies probably will not change. Again, we are always looking to make ourselves better and streamlined. But, and it is a wonderful thing that we have in the EMS space. I've said it once, I'll say it a million times, and it just costs us nothing extra. And I think it is wonderful because it has cost us nothing extra. Yes, we all pay county taxes, but it's your tax dollars at work. And our county commissioners and emergency and township officials and emergency officials worked 5 years to get that EMS space. And I think it is an absolute wonderful thing for this community. It has done 1 cent extra for anybody that has been in this for village. So I know a couple people in this room work damn hard to get that base up and running. You need to remember that. With that, our open house, as reported, is May 2nd. The open house is from 12 to 4. Around 11 o'clock before the open house, we'll have the official ribbon cutting. You should all be getting invitations very soon, and we're working on it. We have kind of set out the date informally, both the county officials and me here with you guys, but official invitations will go out to you, county officials, state and US officials for whoever wants to come and celebrate our EMS. So that is all I have for today, unless you guys have some questions of me.
I have a question about the, so there was a Facebook post, saying, and Tom, actually, you had posted that, that the EMS space is going to, it says, quote, given that it's at the township campus, it will add additional expenses to the township, but only about $10,000 in annual expenses. Can you explain what those are? Because we did not approve any expenses as a board, that it would, like, we tried really hard to build a contract that would not have any.
Yeah, that's what you told us, yeah.
Right, so, but this.
We wanted that, that was part of the deal.
Right, but your Facebook post says that we will be paying $10,000 in annual expenses. Can you explain?
It could get up to that amount, we're gonna have to clear their sidewalks, snow, salt. We already got a bid from JP, you guys petitioned a bid from JP for additional snow and removal and salting. There will be additional weed whipping, probably hedge trimming, not probably, there will be hedge trimming. The complexity of the mowing will be more intense, so I would assume that the mowing would go up. But yeah, there will be additional costs.
$10,000 is a lot.
Well, we're talking about a 100-year lease. Talking about a 100-year lease.
$10,000 a year.
Yeah, we're talking about a 100-year lease. It's a subjective number, it's not a hard number. But there are costs. The real costs. Real costs. Who did you get that from, by the way?
3 people sent me screenshots.
Who's the 3 people?
If they wanted
You
to
took
know.
information and you just publicly announced it, private Facebook. It's a private Facebook account.
I'm literally reading.
Yeah.
the post.
It's a private Facebook account on my private Facebook.
There's nothing private on
It
Facebook.
was on a Facebook, wide open.
Am I your friend?
No, it was just Facebook, I was going through it and it popped up. It was showing a picture of the
That's not-
East building, with the ambulance going, and there was 2 comments and you were one of them. Was not no private one, it was public.
Okay. It was on my private Facebook.
Well, somebody transferred over to that, I can't tell you that. I mean, it was there.
Well, can you, I mean, honestly, I'm confused about this. Can you send me a screenshot of what that looked like?
Well, I'll wait till it comes back down again. Or
You
you,
should be able to find it. I mean, it was on the.
look at yours.
He's not one of the people.
What that? So do you want to address the extra costs and how we're going to,
I
um,
think this is at time for, we should please have called it something. I asked myself.
oh yeah, that was good, good stuff. Any other comments and concerns of the trustees? All right. We have call to the public. We'll open that at 8:52. Would anybody like to speak at call to the public?
Yeah, Carrie Lamb.
Hello there. Man, I love coming to these meetings. Well, I came today, first of all, have been working with the Hub in Peace City for about 10 years now. I do the tutoring and we wanted to thank you for funding the Hub for the next year. So thank you for that. Another thing is, I don't know if you know, but our president had her kidney removed last week. So she's out for a couple weeks and we were not able to get volunteers to cover because she works plenty of shifts at the Hub. And so the Hub will be closed for after school activities until March 3rd. So that's what I came here to say was thank you for funding us for the next year. We appreciate that. We do lots of good things and I'm sure you've seen the reports.
Yep.
But then when you started talking about the library stuff, I wanted to speak as a resident. And I wrote some things down. The library is one of our most important community resources. And I'm not sure why we would be talking about purchasing the library when they still have the millage they had, and then they're gonna get a renewal on the millage. So that seems odd that we would even be talking about purchasing that. The library does a lot of great things for this community, and one thing that they do is they provide us a spot to do tutoring for kids in our community. We're tutoring right now about 8 kids a week, which over the course of the school year is about 300 students per year, which is not small fees. I mean, that's saying something, helping 300 kids. And
Karen, when did you move to the library?
oh, because I wanted to thank you.
Oh, no, I was wondering when you moved
Oh.
when you moved
At
Peace
the-
City's tutoring to the
At the
library.
beginning of at the end of September,
Oh, okay.
because you can't do tutoring with kids running around and screaming and playing video games.
Yeah.
So we really needed a spot that was quiet for the kids. And so we asked the library and they were like, sure, you can use our boardroom, or they have another study room, the history room. But so they're a good partner to us. They provide us scrap paper and pencils and a pencil sharpener and a nice clean warm place. The library does lots of things for kids and adults, classes, workshops, activities. I don't know how often you are at the library, but if you were at the library, there are always disabled adults there who ride their bike or walk up there. So providing that for them, I think is really important as like a community spot where they can interact with people. Internet access for people who don't have any way to get online. The library provides that to people who don't have internet access at home. Not only do they let us do our tutoring there, but there's other tutors who do tutoring there for their students. They check out sports equipment, games that you can just take it home and bring it back, like checking out a book, which is amazing. I wish I had something like that when I was a kid. They dispense food on Thursdays for people that maybe have food insufficiency, and can't make it to Farley Hill. And the book sale, part of our community events. So I just wanted to say, in closing, I want the library to remain independent. I don't think the government always does the best job running things. And so let the library run the library. I would not also want the government deciding what books are available to me that I can check out. So, I will definitely be voting yes on the library millage renewal, just like I vote yes on the fire department, yes on the police department. And I don't think that their millage is gonna fail, so the library will keep on running just as it has been. And that's all I really had to say. Thanks again for funding the hub.
Is there anybody else that would like to speak at call to the public? Okay, we will close call to the public at 8:57.
I make a motion to adjourn.
We have upcoming events, March 14th, Room for the Gold, March 18th, Township Board regular meeting, April 11th, Spring Cleanup Day. There is agenda items in the back if you want to if you want to get these dates, because I'm going to go through them real fast. April 11th, Spring Cleanup Day, April 15th, Township Board meeting, May 2nd is the Fire Department Open House and EMS Grand Opening. May 20th, Township Board regular meeting, and May 27th is the special budget workshop meeting. May 30th is Art and Park. 31st. Okay, now, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. The 8:58. Motion and a second, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Have a good night.